We're live in Detroit, scanning the community for threats, and this is what we do to keep the community safe. Right now, it is 4:12 a.m., and this is the prime time for extremely violent criminals to attempt to break into homes and attack families. And this is why we're out at this time of night with our lights on to make sure they know that there's someone protecting the families. Our goal is to make sure that criminals do not feel that they can enter the home or even the community. You are live in Detroit, and this is how Detroit urban survival training is used in real life to protect families in communities. These communities depend on us to make sure that violent criminals do not attack their families. This is Detroit, Michigan, United States. Detroit is considered to always be one of the most dangerous cities in the United States. And this is what we do and how we have determined that our tactics work is because we had to protect people in real life. So when you look at Detroit urban survival training actual tactics, remember this is the school that actually used their training in real life. So any school can do this. You can simply create an organization that trains people, and then you can actually get uh, your team members or your students to go out and protect communities they live in and they actually train in. In order to do that, though, whether you're in the United States or Brazil or anywhere else, you have to understand a lot about psychology, understand law, and have the skills to manage all levels of threat. And this is what we've done for 27 years successfully. So this is what we're sharing with you is what we've learned over the past 26 years, which is how to create safety safely. Most extreme violent criminals operate between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. The reason why they're active between 3 and 5 is because that's when people are sleeping the deepest. And so they can break in to the home, and before people can respond properly, they are attacked. And this is very common in many. This community has approximately 450 homes, and their homeowner association contracts our organization to make sure they stay safe. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, we respond to any calls for threats to the community, and we coordinate with police, law enforcement whenever possible. But this is real Detroit. We work in communities that are extremely wealthy and extremely poor, both. And we protect people that are not our clients. If they are people that need help, they're in danger, we help them anyway. And it's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It doesn't matter if we are contracted to protect them in their community. If we hear people scream for help, then we go help them. And we've seen people getting attacked, and we have stopped those attacks. People can live happy life knowing that they're going to be fine, not living in fear. So this is Detroit, and you're actually seeing what it looks like at night in the most dangerous time. This is Detroit, so you get a chance to see the most dangerous time period in the most dangerous city in the United States, most years, and that's because here. But in our community, where violent criminals, this is Detroit, Michigan, and this is a scan, a community. This is one of the communities we protect 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and this is why our training at Detroit Urban Survival Training has been tested. Where it's been tested is in the streets, in real life, protecting people, protecting communities and corporations. And right now is the most dangerous time. It's between 3 and 5 a.m. that the most dangerous home invaders attack families with multiple men armed. They break into homes and abuse families, kill people, abduct them, and we prevent that in all of our communities. And if we're driving by and we see someone in danger, we help them anyway. Even if they're not a paying client, if they're not in our communities, we don't care. We help them anyway. So many of the people we've helped have been people that were just in that were being attacked by an individual or a gang or group of people, and we help them anyway. So Detroit Urban Survival Training has been tested many times over the past 27 years, and that's how we know what we're teaching helps you because it's helped us survive. And there's no better teacher than experience. So the reason why we share tactics with you online through YouTube is to make sure you have access to real information that can really help you, your family, your community survive no matter where you live in the world. And our goal is to open an actual center you are in the world. Our goal is to take these centers that we have here in Detroit and take them to other countries so that we can help families in every country train themselves and the people in their communities to protect their communities and do so with the emphasis on nonviolence. So just because someone is inappropriate doesn't mean there's not a way to manage them non-violently. We show you how to do that. How do you understand psychology and use human behavior and the way we modify it to create a non-adversarial interaction for a non-violent outcome. And one of the first ways we do that is opportunity denial. So that's why you're seeing the lights are on, there's strobe lights on, that reflection, this is Detroit Urban Survival Training in Detroit, protecting families. This is a homeowners association community, one of the communities we are. And we encourage people to want to use their skills to protect people wherever they live in the world. And that's why we teach what we teach online so people can learn how to properly protect themselves and their families against violent criminals, attackers that are going to try to kill people in whatever community. And our goal is to make it so people are safe wherever they live in the world. So that's why we share our training with you. And this is also why you see other people don't go out at 4, 5 o'clock in the mornings, because this is when you could encounter violent criminals that are going to attack people. And if you don't believe in your skills, you know you're not going to go out in the darkness where there are violent criminals and put yourself at risk. But that's what we do every day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And we help people under all conditions. So even if they're just on the side of the road here and start screaming for help or running or someone's attacking them, we help them anyway. That includes gunshot victims. And here we have lots of shootings every day. None of our killed in the past 27 years. We stabilized our wounded and transported them to level 1 trauma hospitals. Wherever you live in the world, it's imperative to know where the hospitals are that can treat wounds. So if you're helping, protecting yourself, your family, your community, it's imperative to know how you're going to get first aid. You have stabilization, basic trauma aid, which is what we do for ourselves and our people in the community. But you have to know where the surgeons are in your community, at what hospital that can really save. So try to know that wherever you're living in the world, map out the location of the nearest, what we call in the United States, level 1 trauma hospital. And that just means that there's a surgeon that can help get shot, any type of serious violent injuries. And so what you're seeing is how we protect communities. This is an actual threat management scan. It's preventive threat management is what we call it. That's what we're doing. We're preventing threats by managing. So we don't wait for violent criminals to attack the families. We go ahead of time, which is what you're seeing right now. And what you'll notice is there's no one else out here driving through the communities, protecting. That's just us. And our goal is to get protected. So no matter where you live, you can make sure you're part and do so as safe as possible so you can prevent avoidable injuries and deaths that are happening because violent criminals are extremely violent, and they do not have compassion for their victims. And our goal is to empower people with the ability to protect themselves and their families. And so what you're seeing here is an actual, could be criminal activity. And if you see something, that is real. This is not a scripted show. This is actually real scanning of a community. That's what we do every day. And we've been in these particular communities for 12 years. We've been protecting communities and corporations for 27, not just in Detroit, but in other communities and other cities as well. We've caught home invaders and abductors and stopped them from killing people in and around our communities. And we did so without killing those people. We find ways to preserve their lives while protecting lives. So we discourage of both force and violence, even though you can legally justify it. We really emphasize how not to injure and kill people. This is what it looks like when we're out at night, every day, keeping the community safe by not allowing the criminals to get in position. So one of the things we don't do is we don't safe. And the reason we don't stay safe is because we're making it safe. Somebody's got to go out in the darkness in order to make it safe. And so that's what we do. We train constantly. There's a big difference between actually engaging in protection of people against violent criminals and fighting in a sport. There's no sport out here. This is not simulated darkness. The threats are real. In this community, there was a family attacked before we started, and the family was tied before we started, and the family was tied up and abused for hours. No one was killed, but they were severely physically damaged. What happened to them with these men who tied up the family and abused them? So since we've started 12 years ago, none of the families have been attacked and abused, and that's what we're proud of. But we can stop the violence and abused, and that's what we're proud of. But we can stop the violence and do so without being violent. What you're seeing is how we do it. You have and do so without being violent. What you're seeing is how we do it. You have to be out here, and as you can see, it is dark. This is where the criminals operate, and they know that there's opportunity most places. There is no opportunity that we've made them believe here, so this is why we don't have a lot of the problems other criminals, other communities have with violent criminals here in Detroit, and our communities are safe. But nothing is safe. You have to make it safe. This is our camera system. In every vehicle we have cameras that are cellular so we can see in real time. We can see inside all our vehicles from anywhere in the world. And we can hear inside the vehicles as well. So we know our team members are safe while they're out protecting other people. We've done our part to make our team members safe as well. So we have multiple team members that help each other when necessary. And by having cameras that are cellular, you can see in real time what's going on with your team members. So you can tell if they're in danger and need help, and you can send help even if they can't speak. And if they encounter people, you can actually hear what's being said to your team members as well. So we have access to all of our vehicles have cellular live streaming video camera systems. And our camera systems record to the cloud. But this is why we train, because you cannot go out and protect people in real life in any community if you don't have skills. And the skill is not related to a gun. Guns don't make you safe, and guns don't create the danger either. It's the people. So the people are the problem, and the people are the solution. One of the most dangerous places in the United States is prisons. Very dangerous, and there's no guns in there. And the places where most people get shot are not at gun shows. There's no shootings at gun shows almost ever. And in Detroit, there's no shootings at any schools. And the reason why in Detroit there's no shootings of any kids at any schools, never. There's never a mass shooting at any of the schools in any of the cities. So that's something that happens in the United States, but only in cities where they don't have search. So 9 out of 10 schools in urban communities, protectors. They do not allow guns in the school. They do not have mass shooting events, mass killings at any schools and that's because they prevent them by searching all the students before they come into school. Most urban schools also have law enforcement officers already there, or lots of security as well. This community is a what they call it an at-risk community. It's very transient, and when we took this over about a year and a half ago, this area, one of our clients purchased 20 something buildings out of 60 buildings. So we work for 20 something buildings, but we help anyone who needs help. We don't care if they live in one of the buildings we're hired to protect, or there's just a person just that needs help that's being attacked. We help them anyway. And we've been doing this for 27 years. So that's how we got a chance to see our tactics at Detroit Urban Survival Training actually work. And it's a great feeling to know your skills actually save lives. So that's what our training is about. Somehow people believe that if they comply and they're nice to gunmen, the gunmen won't kill them, and that's obviously not true. Violent criminals are violent to other people because they feel like it. It's not, in most cases, it's compulsion. It's not something you did or did not do, but if you choose to resist a violent criminal, you are increasing your chance of survivability. And if you want to comply, that's your choice. But it's important for you to know that compliance is in no way a guarantee that you're going to survive, and it definitely does not increase survivability. So that's why people that can resist do resist, and many people are disarming guns, disarming knives with no training whatsoever. All they have is love for themselves, their family members, and when violent criminals try to hurt them or their family members, they fight back and they win, and it happens often. And you'd hear about it more, except that news media wants to sensationalize violence, so they focus on negative stories. And when you defeat a violent criminal, that's not a negative story. So you won't see the media focusing on that. And this is one of the most dangerous areas in Detroit, right here. How you doing, sir? Everything okay? All right. Uh, I think you've probably met some of my team members out here before.
I met the other guy before.
Yeah. How you doing, sir?
So that's about 3 or 4 months ago now.
Yep. Are you doing okay?
Yeah, how you been?
All right. Just make sure you're okay.
You all right then?
All right. Have a good night, sir.
Have a good holiday.
You too. And so we protect people by checking on them to make sure they're okay. And so having good communication with people, checking on them makes them feel at ease and makes them understand that you're there to help them and support them, and that's why they support us. They're very positive with us. That gentleman met some of my other team members and has obviously a positive feeling about it. So he walked over to talk to me, and that's what we want. We want people in the community to know that there's people that are out here that care about them and will protect them if necessary. And again, we work with police as well. So any information we have that can help protect the community, that we pass on to police, our local department. We have a very good relationship with them, and they help us as well. And the goal is just to make it safer for the families. There is no competition between us and law enforcement. We are on the same side, which is protection of the people. It's just that law enforcement has other things they have to do as well, and we only have one thing to do, and that's protect. So we have a very strict focus, which is just protection and prevention of violent criminal activity. We're not into focusing on apprehension. We just want to preserve lives. And what that means is our focus is not on the enforcement of laws, it's on the preservation of life. So if someone was stealing something, we would attempt to, and we have engaged by yelling at them or attempting to scare them away. And they've always been scared away. We've never had anyone just ignore us and just do crime. But if they did, we would not physically engage over property. So if someone was stealing this car right here, which they are not, but if they were, we're not going to fight them over this car unless there was someone in it that needed help. So physically defending property with your life is just not intelligent. It's not an intelligent option. So that's why we don't encourage it and we don't do it. And I explain it to our clients who sometimes get confused, and they have some say, well, if someone was stealing my television, you're not going to stop them? And the answer is absolutely not. I'm going to yell at them. And in reality, by the time you're done paying me to go to court to testify about what happened to this person in your TV, if we were to engage, you would be very angry at how much you have to pay. We are a private sector. We don't work for the government. We work for the people directly. So yes, we can apprehend them. We can take them down. But if we injure them, we are responsible for those injuries, even if they're attacking us. So another reason you don't want to use violence is because violence is expensive. They can still sue you even though they're doing crime. So it's best never to use physical force to defend property. It's insured, it's insurable. So it's always a good idea to find a way to non-violently solve issues related to property crime. The only time you should ever engage in physical conflict is if you're protecting your life or the lives of others. Have a good night. There's a lot of abandoned buildings. So one of the things we do is we listen to see if we can hear people screaming for help. And if we do, then we will go wherever necessary to preserve life. There's a vehicle leaving right now. It saw me pulling up and decided to immediately leave. That's usually a sign that they were doing something and they want to not be seen in this area. And our goal is to send them away without having any conflict with them. So we don't follow them, we don't chase them. We simply go the other way. They realize that the area is protected, and now they realize it's best for them to choose somewhere else to go. Right in here, there's a lot of abandoned buildings. And this is often where people are dragged and attacked. Unfortunately, a lot of times it's children dragged into these abandoned buildings, abandoned homes. So when we're driving through, we're actually looking, but we're also listening to see if we can hear people screaming for help. Those are gunshots. In the background, if you heard that, gunshots are common here at night and during the day, but mostly at night. And there's so many abandoned buildings that there's lots of opportunity for people to drag people into these buildings and harm them. So we look for anomalies, any changes in the buildings, and vehicles parked near the abandoned buildings. And this is one of the most dangerous neighborhoods in Detroit. And we are contracted by a management company that hired us to protect 26 buildings of the 60 buildings in this community. And this is a very dangerous area. There was a woman that was in this area here, raped. Her brother came there, and the person attacking her killed her brother and then stabbed her as well. She survived, and that's one of the reasons why we got hired, is because those kinds of deaths are not something that should be happening. And when you have these deaths, you're not going to be able to have good quality of life for anyone. Property value just is, before they have a chance to strike. You can see people that are thinking about going into homes. When they see that you're checking, the violent criminals simply choose to stay away. So our goal is to expand so we can harden the target everywhere, make it difficult for violent criminals to go into anyone's homes, or even feel like they could go into their neighborhoods to go into homes. And prevention is